This is the fourth video in the 8-video series. In this video, I'll be showing you how to get the investor to randomly throw items towards the player. First, let's make sure we are on the player layer, and start importing the items that we want the investor to throw. Let's add these items on the same layer as the player, since we want the player to collide with these items. The items are too large, so let's adjust the scale of all the items to 50%. Notice how I selected all of the objects and changed them all at once. We also need to make the items passable so they go through the floor if the player misses them. Now let's go to the behaviors of the investor. First, we're going to add a timer from the custom category, because we want the investor to try and throw an item every 0.2 seconds. Since we want the items to be thrown randomly, we'll add a random number behavior between 1 and 25. Here, I start adding if behaviors to check to see if the random number has generated a certain value. If the random number is 1, we will spawn money bags. If the random number is 3, we'll spawn noodles. If the random number is 6, we'll spawn cash. If the random number is 10, we'll spawn gavels. Whenever the random number is not one of these values, the investor will not throw anything, which will give a good random feeling to the items that he throws. So let's select the objects that we want to appear for each spawn on object behavior. We also want to have the items appear in front of the investor, so let's change the target of the spawn on object behavior to be in front of the investor. We need to do this for all of the spawn on object behaviors. Let's test out how our random spawning works so far. The investor is randomly spawning the items, but he still doesn't really look like he's throwing them. Let's start off by adding the throwing animation for the money bag first. We need to import the investor's throwing animation frames and add them to the animation timeline. His animation is a bit too fast, so here I adjusted the animation speed slider to make him throw slower. We also only want the animation to be played one time, so we need to turn off loop. We also want to make sure that this animation will not interrupt another one of the investor's animations that may be potentially already playing. So we will set the skip if animation toggle to on. For example, this will make sure that a money bag is not going to be thrown if it's currently throwing any item. First, I attach the money bag if behavior to the play animation, and then the play animation to the spawn on object. This ensures that the money bag will spawn right after the animation is completed. As you can see, the spawning of the money bag now has an animation associated with it, but the money bag is not being thrown away from the investor. To fix this, we will add a propel object behavior from the physics category. This will propel an object away from any other object you select in your game world. In this case, we want the investor to propel the money bag, so we need to select those two objects. Let's see what this looks like now. Alright, let's make the rest of the items behave the same way as the money bags. So we will put the propel object behavior on the noodles, cash, and gavel the same way we did for the money bags. And add the same animation for the investor when he throws the noodles, cash, and gavel. This process is a little bit tedious right now, but will be much faster when we add the ability to duplicate behaviors. In the next video, I will go over the lifetime of the player and making a custom health indicator.